Sweet. All right, this is how to start and stick to a diet that actually works. So basically the goal with any diet is consistency and not perfection. And starting it is hard, and it could be a huge mental shift going into a new diet. And it just takes a little bit of like a switch flipping, being like, okay, I'm going to start doing these things. I'm going to start making these choices. And it's really daunting when you're leading up to making a diet change. But once you get into it and more into the routine, it gets a little bit easier. But then also sticking with it long term gets even harder, because your old habits will start sneaking back in after you start seeing like a lot of progress. And then you'll be like, okay, well, I've been seeing a lot of progress. Maybe I could just do this, this, and this, and other things slip up. So it does get hard to stick to after a long time being in the diet. But the goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. So with any diet, you want to pick something that you can stick with long term. That's why I don't really suggest keto or intermittent fasting or Whole30 or like stuff like that, where it's like you have to go all in for the diet to work. And just because there's not a lot of wiggle room for imperfection in those. And so with kind of like how our plans are structured, we just want you to have a calorie goal and a protein goal, and you can eat whatever you want, and you'll still make great progress as long as you hit those two things. And I feel like that's the best way to stay consistent, because you can still kind of like eat foods that you enjoy eating. But let's break down how to make your nutrition plan sustainable. So first things first, start small and start simple. That's why we do just give you a calorie goal and a protein goal, so you can still eat foods that you're used to eating. We don't give you a complete grocery list, so that way you don't have to go to a grocery store and buy completely new foods that you're not used to eating. It's not a complete like 180 diet shift. We want you to still incorporate foods that you enjoy eating without having to completely change up your diet. So focus on 1 to 2 easy wins, like adding protein to each meal or drinking more water. And if you slowly start doing those things, it'll become more and more natural to you, and you'll slowly start looking for foods that are more high in protein, or you'll just start drinking more water throughout the day because your body will become more thirsty and it will be craving it more. So if you start making slow switches like that, or adding more fruits and vegetables to your diet, those are really easy adjustments that can help you snowball into like long-term success over time. And so small, consistent actions beat massive short-term effort. It's kind of like if you were to do a keto, cut out carbs completely, and then only eat fats and then protein, and you'll lose a bunch of weight within the first like 1, 2, 3 months. But being able to maintain that long term, like once the holidays hit or once like a wedding hits or whatever, and then all of a sudden you have a day where you're eating like tons of carbs, it throws you out of ketosis, stuff like that. It just makes it extremely hard to maintain long term. So just being able to have a diet that is a little bit more flexible and that fits your actual real lifestyle and foods that you enjoy eating can help you maintain it long term. Planning ahead can be huge. Failing to plan is planning to fail. I'm sure you guys have all heard that Pinterest quote. But if you pre-plan meals or snacks for busy days, that will be your key to success. So if you know you're gonna have a busy week or a busy day, just take a little bit of time to prep ahead. So even if you're just prepping your proteins ahead of time, so let's say you know you're gonna have a busy week, so you just throw a bunch of chicken in a crock pot and then you have chicken on hand. That way you have your protein set, and you can kind of just play with your carbs and fats on the side. So if you have all of your protein prepped, then you can just throw that chicken on some salad, or you can throw that chicken into like a tortilla, make like a protein quesadilla. You could also throw that chicken into a sandwich. And so that way you have at least your protein set aside, and that will help you at least hit your protein goal. And then if you have healthy carbs on hand, like there are some really, really good like low carb, high protein tortillas out there, or breads. Dave's Killer Bread is awesome. So that way you have healthy carbs and healthy proteins on hand, and so that you can just throw together meals really easily. And so if you do have a busy week, you can just easily throw a couple meals together. You can also keep some things in the freezer and just air fry some food. yeah, I love doing that with chicken and with salmon. It makes things really, really easy. And then also, of course, using food trackers, we have you all tracking your food. You can make some healthy grocery lists and then meal prep on days that you are less busy if you know you have a busy week coming up. With food trackers, I would recommend just planning like 10 minutes the day before, the night before, your food for the upcoming day. So just track up to 80% of your calories. So that way you have like a 20% leeway, and then just stick to that plan as you go throughout your day. And that will help you have a plan. And you're like, okay, I already know what to eat. I'm really busy, but I'm going to stick to this plan. And so that way you can hit your calorie goal and your protein goal, but you do have a 20% of your calorie leeway. So if like something pops up, like you're in the office and they bring a donut or something, and you're like, well, I really want that donut, you have 20% of your calories still to like have a donut or something there. So that way, if there is something that does pop up that you didn't plan for, you can still work those things into your day. Okay, so build flexibility, not perfection. And I don't want you guys to be in the mindset of like, I'm on or off my diet. It's like, there's days that you're going to do better, there's days that you're going to do worse, but I don't want you to ever feel like you're off your diet plan. It's just like you had a free day of eating. I always want you to allow room for your favorite foods. So even chocolate, even pizza, within your calories, obviously within reason. Like we do want you to stick to like serving sizes and stay within your calories and stuff, but we do want you to work in fun foods that you enjoy eating, because if you have to cut out things that you really enjoy eating, it's just not something that you'll be able to stick to long term. And then if you do have, like, let's say you cut out pizza and then later you go to a football party and there's pizza there, and then you end up eating like 5 slices. Whereas if you just like let yourself have pizza occasionally every once in a while, you don't feel as deprived, and then you can just have 1 or 2 slices at that football party and then just move on with your day, and you're still within your calories. So working foods that you enjoy in, I think, is the biggest key to success with maintaining things long term. So I don't ever want you guys to feel like you have to cut anything out. I want you to more use your calories as puzzle pieces to work through or to add into your calories for the day. So one thing that I really like doing when I'm cutting weight for fights is pre-logging a treat in advance. And like, that's the first thing I log on my day, because like, let's say I really want a Twix cookie from Crumble Cookie. So I'll pre-log that into my calories, and then I'll plan the rest of my day out around that. And I know that if I actually follow that plan and I stick to it, then I can have that cookie at the end of the day, and I still hit my calorie goal and I still hit my protein goal, and I'm still on track for making weight for my fight. And so that way I don't feel like I'm deprived when I am cutting, and I can still have foods that I enjoy eating. So I always make sure that I pre-log a treat in for the day, so I feel like a sane person when I am cutting. So think balanced, not restriction, and one meal doesn't ruin progress. Consistency does the heavy lifting. So if you do end up going to like a football party tonight, or I guess like let's say on Friday you went out to dinner with your friends and you overate, maybe you drank a little bit, I don't know, and you just feel kind of like gross, you're like, well, I already messed up Friday, so I'm just going to not really track Saturday, and I'm gonna go out to eat again because my friends are going out to eat again. And then Sunday, it's football Sunday, so I'm gonna eat like the football foods there. And you kind of let that one meal take control of your entire weekend, and it snowballs and makes it even worse than it needs to, rather than if you had that one meal on Friday and you're like, okay, I kind of went over on my calories, but I'm not going to let that ruin the entire weekend. I'm going to stay on track with my calories Friday and Sunday. And then any water weight that your body does put on over that meal from Friday, it'll release it over the next couple of days. And then you won't be like set back from the weekend, and you won't be put in like a maintenance mode or a surplus. You'll just be like on track. So I think there's like a quote that's like, if one tire pops, you wouldn't slash the other 3. You would just let the one tire pop, fix that, and then keep driving. So that's kind of the mindset. It's like, if you have one day where you go over your calories, it doesn't mean that you have to let that snowball into the entire weekend or the entire week or the entire month. So just take it for what it is and then get right back on track the next snack, meal, or day. Stay accountable. So accountability can be one of the best things that you do to stay on track. So hiring a coach, obviously that's why we're here, having a community, and then friends. And so we are virtual coaches and we can't be with you all the time. So it is also nice to have a friend that you can rely on and be like, hey, look, I really want to come watch football with you guys and I have 500 calories left. So can you make sure that I only eat 500 calories, and have your friend kind of like remind you or check in on you like, hey, how are you doing with your calories or whatever. So that way you have somebody helping you with that if you do have somebody that you feel like can help you. So they can remind you to stay on track with your goals. So having a friend that you can rely on in person can also help, as well as, of course, us as coaches. And then you can also rely on the community in our community. And also staying accountable, just track progress beyond the scale. So if your energy feels better, if you feel more energized, if you feel like you're in a better mood, if your strength numbers are going up, if you're running faster or anything like that, can also play a role in all of the progress that you're making, and it can help you stay accountable. So it doesn't necessarily just need to be the scale that holds you accountable. It can also be how your body's performing and how you're feeling and how you're functioning. And then also with staying accountable, when there's days that you do kind of want to go off track, just remember your why. Like, why did you sign up for this in the first place? Are you trying to focus on like improving your health? Did your doctor tell you need to be here? Are you trying to live a long, healthy life? Are you trying to be there for your kids? Or do you just want to look better? I think looking better gets a really, really bad rap online. And I think it's totally fine to want to look good in your body. And I don't think anyone should feel ashamed of that or shameful for that. So even if your reason why you want to work out or why you want to lift heavy is because you just want to look good in your body, you want to feel comfortable in your clothes, I think that can be enough. So whatever your reason is for why you started, try to remember that. Be like, okay, yeah, this pizza might be fun, but if my jeans fit a little bit tighter tomorrow, like maybe I don't really want to eat that. Or if your why is feeling better and like feeling more energized, be like, okay, so if I eat this pizza, then tomorrow I might feel a little bit more sluggish on my run, and I don't really want to do that. I don't want to feel that way, so I'm just going to stick with the plan. So if you remember your why, then it can help you kind of like rewire your brain to help you stay on track. And then also celebrating the small wins. So progress will fuel your motivation. And if you do realize all the things that are happening and really try to focus on the wins, it'll help rewire your brain to recognize the positive when it is happening. And soon your body will reflect that. So your body does reflect a lot of what's happening inside of what you're thinking and what you're feeling and how your gut is functioning. So if you guys really start rewiring your brain to focus on all the positives, then you can, your body will reflect that and it will respond more positively. Staying disciplined. Okay, so this is probably my favorite slide, and it's probably everybody else's in diet culture's least favorite slide. So motivation fades, discipline will keep you going. And it basically just comes down to sticking to your plan even when you don't feel like it. One of my favorite quotes from Dave Ramsey is, "Children do what feels good, adults devise a plan and follow it." So even when you are not feeling it, you don't want to go to the gym, there's so many things you'd rather do, you're kind of feeling like in a blah mood, you're like, I don't really want to go to the gym today. If you just show up even on days that you don't want to be there, you eventually develop the mindset of like, I'm just a person who goes to the gym even when I don't want to do it. Or going back to diets, it's like, oh, I think it would just feel so good to just have like another piece of cake. And even though I'm going to go over on my calories, but if you kind of like stick to the plan and be like, okay, I already had a piece of cake, I'm satisfied, let me just go talk to somebody and distract myself, rather than give in to your feelings of wanting another piece of cake. And the more you do that, the more you stay disciplined when times are hard, or when you're not feeling it, or when you feel like you would feel better if you did something else, the more confidence you build in yourself and the ability, your ability to become who you want to be. So if you want to be somebody who's healthy, lives a disciplined, like healthy, happy life, then of course there is a little bit of balance there. But the more you do say no, the more you stick to the plan, the more confidence you build into yourself and into your skills. And the more you just become the person who is like living a healthy lifestyle because it makes you feel good, and because it makes you feel good to stick to your plan and to your goals. And it's just a good place to be. But it doesn't need to be perfect. That all being said, you just need to be consistent. But that comes to working, like, I think it's easy to stay disciplined if you still work in foods that you enjoy eating. If you're like you're eating in a way that you enjoy. Obviously, if you're in a calorie deficit, it's not always fun. But if you are still working in foods that you enjoy eating, it makes it not as bad and not as miserable. So staying disciplined is key. And even on days when you're not feeling it, just keep showing up for yourself, keep showing up for your goals, and it will become easier and easier. And soon it's going to become second nature, and you're just going to be a person who is healthy and like sticks to the plan. All righty. Q&A, ask me those juicy questions. We did have a couple comments pop in, so can you explain water weight more? When does your body hold on to water more? So great question, Mason. Okay, so water weight can happen with so many different things. So if you even have like a stressful day at work, so Mason's a really lean person naturally. She's like an athlete, she does pole vaulting. And so her body can hold on to water, and she would like show it because she's just naturally, well, not naturally, she's just a very lean person. So water weight, like if she's stressed one day, then her body can hold on to a little bit of water. If she doesn't get as good a sleep one night, your body can hold on to water. If you have a little bit more carbs than what you normally would, your body can hold on to water. And if it's your time of the month, your body can hold on to water. So water weight isn't true like weight gain, and it's not, you're not gaining body weight or like fat. So if you go out and get pizza one night and you eat 5 slices and your body's not used to you getting that many carbs because you're eating lower calorie, then the next day you wake up, you're maybe like 2 or 3 pounds over what you were the previous day. You didn't gain 2 or 3 pounds unless you ate 3,500 times 3. Unless you ate 10,500 calories over your maintenance calories, then you didn't actually gain 3 pounds. So that's just like your body holding on to water. Any gram of carb that you eat, your body holds on to 3 grams of water. And so that's why people think carbs make you fat, but they don't. They just add a little bit more water. So that is kind of like how that works. And how I got that calculation is 1 pound of fat weight is 3,500 calories, and I just times it by 3. And so that's 10,500 calories. And so if you had 10,500 calories over your maintenance calories, then that's when you actually gain 3 pounds. Other than that, it's typically just water. And if you stay on track with your calories and your protein, drink lots of water, get your steps in, get your movement in for the day, your body should release that fairly quickly. If it's your time of the month, it's pretty typical to see a little bit of an increase, like a pound or 2 a day before your period, like a couple days before your period, and then release it like 2 or 3 days within your period. So that's another way that that can happen. With stress, I think it's just having some good stress practices where you can manage your stress. So whether it's like talking to a friend, a therapist, journaling, stuff like that, good stress management techniques can help your body not hold on to that water retention or release cortisol in your body. It's easier said than done, obviously, if like stressors are coming at you from work or stuff that you can't control. But being able to manage that stress in a healthier way, like maybe going out for a walk and processing it, journaling your feelings, talking to a friend, stuff like that, rather than just like holding on to it and shoving it down, can really help your body not release the cortisol and cause that water retention. Did that question clarify anything, or did that make it more confusing?
That helped. Thank you.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Okay, does anybody have questions on anything that I presented on? I know I just talked a lot there.
Not really a question as much as when we first started talking about building my plan, and the first question you asked me was, what kind of foods do you like to eat? So, you know what I mean? It wasn't all about you're going to try and lose weight, so everything's going to suck. So that was huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing that I see with people who start. They're like, okay, can you send me a grocery list so I know what to buy? And I'm like, well, just keep the food in your fridge and work it around what you have with your calories. And that makes it so much easier for people. They're like, oh, well, I can still eat the foods that I've been eating and still make progress. I'm like, yeah, you can. Just takes a little bit of skill development and tracking, but definitely can. Blair, let's hear it.
So I reached out to you this week because on Friday or Thursday, I'd made like a hamburger, sweet potato, and every time I would plug it in, it was like high calories and then not enough protein. Is there any like meats you suggest that are like maybe better to prep, which will help hit protein better than like a hamburger? I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So if you like eating hamburgers, you could just get the leanest ground beef. It's a little bit more pricey to get it more lean, but I mean, if you like hamburgers, then I wouldn't say stop eating hamburgers. I would just get like the leaner cut version of it. So that way you can have like 1 or 2 patties. And then if you want a lower calorie option, just like wrap it in lettuce or try to find lower calorie buns, like do a thinwich or something like that. So that way you can still have a hamburger and get plenty of protein. But ground beef is a great option and also has a lot of like iron in there. So it's good to have that in there and try to work that in too. You can also try like ground chicken. You can do like a chicken burger, ground turkey. You could do a turkey burger, stuff like that. That's a little bit more lean, but I do like still having red meats in your diet. So that way you can get the B vitamins and iron from there. So you feel a little bit more energized, especially around your period. It's really good to have red meats in there. Kyle, are you uncomfortable with all this period talk today?
No, I have a daughter, and she's 16, and we're the place that I'll just come home and there's friends all over the place. So
Nice.
a
Good.
couple weeks ago, I had to make a run at color guard practice
Oh,
for, yeah, some of them. So yeah,
good.
no, it doesn't bother me at all.
Good. You're a good dad. Does that answer your question, Blair?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. I think you switched it out for a turkey burger, didn't you? Or
I
you said-
did, yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Sweet. Okay. Any other questions? Yep. Lindsay, did you unmute out for a reason?
I do. I would just say for Blair, like I have used like the Louise, I think it is, or Louis keto bun, for like hamburger, and they're only like 70 calories.
That's nice. Yeah.
So, and they don't taste bad.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah. I also would say like in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, I have pre-logged, like you were saying, 80% of my food for the week on Sunday. So I don't have to worry about logging anything except for like a snack throughout the week. So I already have my food all prepped, and that seemed to help me significantly. And since I've been doing that, I have lost so much more weight because I know what I'm eating and I don't have to think about it throughout the week. I can focus on everything else in life and not my food.
Awesome. Love that. Good. I'm glad you actually like took the tip and you're like, okay, I'm going to try it. And then it's been successful. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. It's good to know that the stuff I teach actually works, you know?
Very much.
I have so many clients that are like, oh, so if I follow the plan, then my body does lose weight. And I'm like, oh, it's crazy. Crazy how that works. Okay, Gabby.
Hey, so my question is regarding meal prepping, mainly because I started living alone like in February, so I don't have that many things. I don't have a microwave or an oven, and I've been thinking like what type of foods I can actually meal prep that you just have to use a stove for.
Okay, that's a good question. I honestly, if I were you, I would just cook like a lot of like ground beef all at once, or just like shredded chicken or something. So you just like cook a bunch on the stove and then just have some carbs on hand. So with ground beef, if you do cook a lot of that, then you can turn it into like tacos, you can put it into wraps, you can put it into salads, you can do so many things with like the different carbs that you put it in, but then that way you have all the protein that you need for like 3 to 4 days. You can cook it at a time. With chicken, you could do the same thing. You could do like chicken and vegetables, just keep it simple. You could also like mix it into salads, sandwiches, wraps, everything there. So you can get creative with it. I'm more of like a creature of habit where I'll just like eat the same thing over and over and over again. So if I made chicken, I'd probably have the same like chicken wrap the entire week. But I wouldn't get sick of it. I just like planning ahead. Does anybody else have suggestions on that? I'm not like the best with cooks, like being a cook. So do you guys have things that you like that you cook on just a stove?
I like stir fry.
Stir fry. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, you can make a lot of stir fry too. So you could like stir fry a ton and then just prepackage it into like meals for like 3 or 4 days and it would stay good. So I think that's a good one.
Yeah, stir fry is awesome. I also moved all of my cooking stuff to cast iron,
Okay.
and it's easy to simulate a grill when you have cast iron right on your stove. So that's a huge, and it's really not all that expensive either. Start with a cast iron skillet because that's probably the most versatile, and then just as you go through, you're at the store or whatever, get your pots and stuff like that. But that's what I did. So because I like to grill, but it gets really cold. So
Yeah. Awesome.
and I think it just tastes better. It cooks better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of chicken in the oven as well.
Yeah, Cassie said if you have an option to buy, get an air fryer. I would agree. I think air fryers are literally the best. Like that's the thing that I use the most to cook with other than like a toaster. But air fryers are awesome because you can just have so many things that are just like frozen in your freezer, pop it in, 10 minutes later you have a good meal. Lacey, question?
And I was gonna say I agree with the air fryer because when I was in Washington for a month, I lived out of the air fryer, and I love the counter meals from Target. There's this guy who does the burrito meal prepping, and he has his own brand at Target, and those are so good. And each of those meals are 30 grams of protein, and they're like 350 calories. And I lived off of those the whole time, and I actually weighed in at my lowest when I was in Washington. So I need to get back to those meals.
Just isolate yourself with an air fryer and then you got it. Okay, alrighty. Does anybody else have any more questions, or are you guys' hands just, Blair, do you have another one, or is your hand just up still? Oh, down. Okay, cool. So Cassie said, I have a future topic as we get closer to the holiday season. How do we prep our mindset to think about foods going into the holiday? That will be good. Okay, so staying on track during the holidays. Okay, cool. And does anybody else have any suggestions or anything like they're wanting to learn or do more of a deep dive in? No? Okay.
I can send you some stuff off the top of my head. I don't have it, but I have it written down.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And you guys can message me later if you want to do it privately, you can, or the groups, sometimes it gets washed out and I don't always catch it. So if you want to message me privately, then I'll be able to make sure that I see that and add it to the list. But I think next Sunday we'll talk about mindset shifts and working on like the more mental side of things. So that one will be fun and it will be good because the mental side of it is like a little bit more tricky than the physical side most times. So that'll be good. Alrighty. Well, you guys are awesome. Thanks for hopping on, and I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.